Hey, you're hanging out in the Link Up Lounge. I'm Tiffany Mason.
And I'm Donna Ruppel. Around here, we believe success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you link up with. This is your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Donna, it blows my mind that the two of us have over 30 years of combined networking experience.
I know! We've built businesses, expanded networks, and created unstoppable momentum, all through the power of strategic connections.
AKA networking. And now we're here to guide you to do the same, starting today.
So let's dive in, connect, and start making moves you didn't even know were possible.
Welcome back to the Link Up Lounge. I'm Tiffany Mason with Virtually You, the boutique podcast management agency, and Miss Donna Ruppel, your Nocatee real estate expert. This is your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities. We're here because real growth happens in community, not isolation. And collaboration is one of the smartest ways to market your business. So today we're talking about how to market through collaboration. I know we mentioned this on a previous podcast, and here it is, you guys. Actually, the last podcast. And so we thought, let's move right into collaboration. Simple cross-promotion ideas to help you expand your reach without doubling your workload.
Yes, we didn't want to keep you guys hanging too long because we know you're dying to know more about how to effectively collaborate.
Chomping at the bit.
Right? They're like, well, you said later. How about now? Okay. So here's something we know for sure, right? You don't have to grow your business alone. I know there are so many entrepreneurs out there, right? But you do not have to grow your business alone. And you definitely don't need a huge ad budget to get seen. Sometimes the fastest way to reach new audiences is by teaming up with people already serving the kind of clients you want to reach. So today we're talking about cross-promotion, how small businesses can grow together by sharing audiences and collaborating in strategic ways. We have a link in the show notes for a collaboration checklist too, because we are really dedicated to providing some really awesome, great freebies. So be sure and check out our show notes, okay? Okay. How do you know who would be a good collaboration partner for you and your business?
Well, Donna, because when two people work together, they win. The whole community rises. Isn't there a saying like a rising tide raises all ships? That's one of the most overlooked growth tools in small business is collaborating with other small businesses. I am super excited to dig into this. So, Donna, take it away. Why does collaboration work?
Yeah, Tiffany, you are so good at this too. So creative about how collaboration can work between two businesses. That is like one of your strong suits. I love it. So let's start with the big ideas. When you cross promote with another business, you're being introduced to a warm audience, people who already know, like, and trust the person you're partnering with. And that trust will transfer. It will give you instant credibility, visibility, and sometimes even leads without cold pitching or spending money on ads. I mean, think about it. When you are going to look for somebody to power wash your house, what do? You ask a friend or you post in a group on social media asking for recommendations, right? So I think I heard a statistic recently, and don't quote me on this, but I think I heard something like 85% of the businesses you want to work with have come from some sort of referral that you ask for. So you either ask for it in a social media group or you ask from your friends or family, like, who would you use for this? And that has more credibility today, a referral, than any ad that you could place anywhere.
Well, I'll tell you, when I see somebody post something on social media, I'm like, oh, Donna likes them? Well, I like Donna. I trust Donna. Let me see. So there is something definitely to be said about a warm lead when they come to you because there's already a little buy-in, right? There's already a little trust built in, a little like built in because your BFF, oh, that person on social media posted it. Or sometimes have you ever had somebody like maybe a financial class above you and they have used somebody and you're like, oh, that's who they're using. And like they could still be your friend, but it's just interesting to see, like, let me check that service out. Maybe I want to bump up my game a little bit here.
Yeah. Or those friends of yours that are super particular about things. Like, you have friends that are super particular about like service, right? Their level of expectation far beyond exceeds yours. So if they recommend somebody, you're like, oh, they must be good if they meet her qualifications,
Absolutely. Well, and also, I mean, I think the other thing that we need to think about when we're thinking about who we're going to collaborate with, it's not about competing so much as it is aligning with somebody, right? So when you do it well, I mean, everybody wins, just like we're saying here. When you get that referral or when somebody says, I use XYZ company or product, that's when everybody wins because you've done a good job. And so now those people are kind of singing your praises. And I know I have noticed a few people in our group that I just naturally align with. And those collaborations come real fast and real easy. But Donna, I wonder how many people in our group are like, how do I collaborate with Tiffany, the podcast manager? Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Think like, I don't know somebody that wants to do a podcast. How am I supposed to collaborate with her? Yeah, absolutely. But
Right.
yeah, that's where I think like you are so creative. And so you saying, a great way to collaborate with me is maybe let's do this, and you have great
Right.
ideas. Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite ones, and I just want to get creative juices going for people who are listening to us, is somebody else introduced like a social media takeover to me. So I was like, okay, how would that look for me as a podcast manager? And how can I have other people use their network to expose them to my business? So my music podcast that started my whole podcasting career is Memories with a Beat. And so I wanted people to say that they were listening to Memories with a Beat. And how was I going to get that to happen? So I gave them ideas and said, hey, would you post and say, I've been listening to Memories with a Beat in my car. I listen to Memories with a Beat at the gym. I listen to Memories with a Beat when I went for a walk. And then they could say, and it was produced by Virtually You. And so not only is this a great podcast, but I know the podcast editor behind it. And that was really great. And then what I did for them in reverse is I did the same thing and exposed aspects of their business. Now, one other idea I would like to share is I had one of my clients, I'm using her services. And so it was great because in our stories, I would go on one day and I would ask a question. She would answer that question and I would share it. So if somebody's watching my story, now they see my question and then they see her answer. The
Yeah, that
following
was a great
day,
one.
oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great one because I was like, oh, look at them. It's like they're having a conversation. And I wanted to hear the next question and I wanted to hear the next answer. Yeah, that was genius.
Well, and the great thing, right, was they were short. They're in stories. So they can't be like these forever long, like nobody has time to listen. It was a great way for us to show our expertise, to be fun about it, and to be quick. Because time is
Yes.
money and we ain't got time.
Right. Well, and nowadays everybody has, microwave attention spans too. So the more you
True.
do, that's like under a minute, it's so funny because,
Yeah.
everybody makes fun of how my generation, okay, shares stories. Okay. I was just having this conversation with my son who's just graduated college. And when I want to share a story with my husband, I show him my phone and he watches. And if it's longer than like 40 seconds, he's like, gosh, this is a long one. Okay. I find that so funny. My kid who just graduated college, he's like, why would you ever hand your phone to somebody? I'll just send it to you. Okay. And he's like, don't touch my phone. It's so funny, the difference in just generations. I'm like, oh my gosh, but if you send it to me, then I have to click on it. And then I have to see if I have that social media account. Then I have to find it. And then it's like a whole big thing. I don't know. It's
I
so
agree.
funny. Anyway, I just showed my age to y'all. Okay. So back on topic, let's give you some ideas about simple cross promotion
Yes,
ideas.
we have all kinds of fun things to share today.
Yeah. So here are a few ways to start. Tiffany, why don't you share one?
Okay. Well, one of the things, and we are going to put together this little collaboration checklist for you guys. So we'll go ahead and throw these ideas on there. But one would be a joint giveaway. So you're going to team up with another business. Each of you contributes to the prize and promote across both of your audience. We have had a lot of success with this in some, I guess, like networking events that we've had, but we've invited the general public out. And so it's been like this fun little happy hour kind of thing. But we put together these great baskets. And in the baskets, we used services that were very similar. And then we gifted them away. So let's say somebody was really excited about a massage. Okay. They were really excited about a massage. But what also came in the basket was skincare and a membership to online movement practice and maybe like a candle and one other thing, right? Everybody went in on that basket. The person who got the initial basket was really excited about the massage, but now they're getting to find out about these other businesses. So that would be one great way that I would really encourage you to, work together with somebody else. Maybe you want to work with me and I can give away some headphones, and maybe yours is a book. Those two mediums mix well together. Think outside the box and how can you be creative with others?
Yeah, and you can absolutely use that in growing your social media presence as well. You could partner with your giveaway and then, have it based on number of followers, or if you have a group you're trying to grow, it could be based on, who's inviting to the group. I mean, there's so many different ways you can use that. Get as creative as you can get with that, because that is a great way to team up and make the most of what you can do as far as exposure. So another idea is guest swaps. So whether it's a podcast, an Instagram live, the story conversation we were just talking about that Tiffany did with our nutrition person, or even an email list, share your platform and invite others into your space, because it absolutely goes so far when people see you showcasing or giving a platform to another business, because they already know, like, and trust you. So, oh, this is a nutrition person that she really likes, or, whatever the case may be. So guest swaps on anything. It doesn't have to be a podcast, because, you can only have a podcast if your life is 100% together, right? But
we've made that very abundantly clear in the last episode.
But if your life is 100% together, then definitely you want to have a podcast. No. So yeah, guest swaps, it could be anything.
Well, I agree with that. And one of my favorite things when it does come to guest swaps in your newsletters. So this is, a lot of us have newsletters. They're a lead magnet. It's a way for us to touch base on a weekly basis. But let's say that you did an Instagram live with somebody, or you were on somebody's podcast, or you added an excerpt to somebody's book. Put that in your newsletter. There's a link at the bottom, or maybe that's something you could share in your stories, that you were on somebody else's podcast. You don't have to have a podcast to be a guest on a podcast. Or, like I said, somebody's Instagram live, or maybe you were a guest at a workout clinic and they did a workout, and then you were there selling some product that, goes with people who have a healthy mindset. Those are great. But I love it in the newsletters, the show notes, or even blog features. So in my podcast, I have my show notes, but then I also feature the person if people want to go check out anything there. And then any, articles that I've mentioned or any books that I've mentioned, they're just great ways to really support one another. I think that's been the biggest feedback, is when I have somebody on my podcast, they say, wow, your show notes are really thorough. And in my mind, I'm thinking, right, because I'm trying to promote you.
Yeah.
So, think about that when you say, like, hey, my tip for this week is make sure you get your car washed, and then, wash the inside of your house with this cleaning service, right? And then you put the information with a hyperlink. We got to make things really easy for people. I know me personally, I like to go through and click on things throughout the day. And I'm not even kidding. When I sit down at like 9 o'clock at night to watch TV, or 8 o'clock at night, I will go through all those open tabs and I will look at all the things I kind of wanted to check out throughout the day, but I didn't have time for. So make it easy for people, put hyperlinks in there, and promote others.
Yes, hyperlinks are key in this day and age. That microwave attention span, they're not going to go figure it out. No.
They're not going to copy and paste a link.
No, that's too much. No. Yeah, that's the point in which we are at. Okay. So another idea for you guys is to bundle offers, right? Package your services together for a special promotion. Think like, I'm a realtor, right? So think a realtor with a stager, or a podcast editor and a copywriter. We talked about this already, but let's just continue to beat the dead horse. But podcast editor and and health coach. I mean, you can do any kind of bundle together. If you can create it, you can do it. So again, when we were talking about go outside the box, don't necessarily think like realtor and stager, realtor, mortgage person, go outside the box. Like I could collaborate with a massage therapist, and oh my gosh, who doesn't want a massage, right?
Well, and I love that you're always saying, like, I can't give away a house. So
Right.
There's other things that I have to work on, So it's also the same thing. Like, I can't give away a podcast, but there's other ways that we can work together. So I think it does make sense to think of each other's network and what do they need. So like, Donna, you've been great to go, okay, well, I can't give away a house. I can't give away my services, but I can, support somebody in tips, like how to take care of their lawn, how to be new to the state of Florida, how to, whatever it would, mean as far as being in the real estate realm as far as what they would need to know. So I think that you've been great in that, in collaborating with others.
Well, thank you. I'll take that
Yes.
compliment because Tiffany is the queen of collaboration. So I'll take it.
And the last one we want to talk about is events. So host something together, a virtual workshop, a pop-up shop, or even a coffee meetup. I loved one of our groups. Somebody had a salon and they invited the whole group out. And one lady who makes chocolates got to have her chocolates out. And one lady who had a boutique in the salon got to promote her boutique. The salon, of course, got to promote their salon. The lady in their group that does balloons and design and decor, she got to have that. So that one event, they got to feature a lot of people in their group. And then if anybody wanted to bring additional items, they certainly could, or they could say, like, hey, refreshments are provided by Donna the Realtor, right? They could have found a way to promote the other businesses. And I think that is just so clever that everybody in the group, got to be promoted and put in the spotlight. And then everybody in the group, of course, invited other people. So like
Right.
Donna and I got to go and we didn't know any of those businesses. And now we know all those businesses. So how fun is that? That now we can cross promote within those groups. When you attend other people's events, you get to learn about other people. Like, let's say I knew the hairstylist that owned the salon. I would go to support her, but now I'm going to get to learn about all these other businesses. So see if you can get an event together.
Yes, because even I didn't realize that the event coordinator did those type of balloon things until we went to that.
Right.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I need to use you on my next event. Like, that was huge just to have that. So events are super fun.
I've been working on something on the side, actually. Like, I mean, I don't know about everybody listening, but I think we all have like at least 3 jobs, or, there's always somebody with a side hustle or anything like that. So I have another thing I'm working with on another podcast. And it was interesting to meet somebody that could connect me with the people that I needed for my other little side hustle. So that was really exciting. You just never know who knows who knows who. All those links in the chain.
Yeah, that exactly. All the links. I like it.
I mean, we are in the link up lounge.
You get it? Yeah, I really, I like that because it goes back to also the value of not burning those bridges, the value of being a giver and not a taker, is because you never know who knows somebody else that is really going to be able to help you with whatever it is that your business is or what you're doing. So yeah, super important lesson, right? I think our parents probably told us that, but chances are we didn't listen back then. So yes, we heard you, Mom and Dad.
So we have given you guys so many different ways to collaborate, but how do you know who you want to collaborate with, right? On the worksheet that we're going to have in the show notes for you guys, click on the link, get it, start collaborating. We're going to have a couple of different things that you want to consider in a collaboration partner. So you want to identify your potential partner. Do you guys serve similar audiences? Like, for example, if you work with the local business owners, do they serve creatives, wellness professionals, or service providers in the same space? Do their values and communication style align with mine? Like, are they professional, positive, consistent, easy to collaborate with? Or is it a totally different vibe and maybe it wouldn't be a good collaboration partner for you? Are your offers complementary, not competitive? Like, I mean, we wouldn't want to have 2 podcast editors together, right? That kind of doesn't make sense. But make sure that they are same audience, but with a different focus. Do you genuinely respect and admire their work? Do you feel confident in referring them? Again, going kind of back to that know, like, and trust. Would you feel good if somebody that you knew ended up using their services? And do they have an engaged audience? Even if it's small, loyal is better than a large audience. Are people commenting, responding, and referring others to their content? So that would be, how you would identify a person that you would want to collaborate with.
Yeah. And then step 2 would be to choose a format. So again, is that a joint giveaway, combining your services or products into a prize with some sort of entry rules, some sort of promotion across platforms, whatever you guys decide on that? Is it a guest swap, like we talked about on a podcast or an Instagram Live, blog, or newsletter, appearing on each other's platforms to cross-share stories, tips, or industry insight? If they're complementary businesses, you can really do a lot with industry insight.
Yeah.
We
didn't even talk about that. That'd be a great one.
Right? Another one is a newsletter or blog feature mention. I'm going to add in like if you regularly send out email campaign type of stuff with tips or information or whatever, it can be in there as well. Spotlight one another with a warm introduction or content highlight, or share like somebody else's Instagram or podcast. I love sharing my friends' podcasts. Yeah.
Well, something that I am toying with, and so this is a fresh idea, you guys, because again, we have our lives together. But I am toying with the idea of there is right now this trend where two people are like in an obscure place and they're asking each other questions, but they're it's really like a comedy thing where they're trying to just be funny. And so I can't even think of it. They're kind of like bad dad jokes. But think of what the trends are right now, and maybe can you play off of some of those trends to be playful in your content, especially if you have a serious topic. Like, I mean, real estate could be a serious topic if you're only posting facts and, market trends and that kind of thing. Whereas if you throw a little bit of humor in there, people get to see you as a person. So yes, it's important to promote our businesses, but how could you be playful with that? How could you incorporate one another? And again, I mean, we want those likes and shares, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Another format would be to bundle an offer or a package deal created for a limited time. So a great example is our health coach friend. She partnered with a trainer, and the two of them put together like a 1-month package at a discounted rate.
That was gold.
Right? Because it's going to introduce you to one or both of their services, and then they cross promote it across each of their customer bases. And I just thought that was such a great idea. Those kind of things are really, really good. Yeah, for sure. Okay. And then another one, the last one I'm going to mention, is to co-host an event, in person or virtual. I will say, in this post-COVID world that we live in, I think a lot of people are enjoying connecting in person. So
I think like stats say that right now everyone is just struggling with loneliness. So if you could go to a networking event, you could get engaged with someone and find a new connection, like that is money right there alone.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you co-host an event with somebody that, again, has a complementary business, or it doesn't always have to be that way. It could be a business that is completely different than yours, but their audience is going to want to connect with your business. Your audience is going to want to connect with their business. You could do things like host a panel or a live discussion or have a workshop about something that brings both audiences together.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you have figured those couple of pieces out, the next thing you're going to want to do is plan the promo. So you're going to align on the goals and what does success look like to both of you. So again, those clear expectations, that communication, what would the sales be that come out of this? Oh my gosh, I know that when we talked last episode, we talked about takers and bartering, and there were two people that made a collaboration. One person provided a supporting service to this other person, and then there were sales that were had. And they never talked about how the sales were going to be split. The one person took all the sales and the other person got none. So when we're doing these, make sure you guys are having clear expectations on, what the sales are going to look like, what the leads are going to look like. Are you sharing that lead list? Set a timeline. Is this something that we're going to do in the next month? And then maybe break it down by week, how that's going to work. How long is the promo going to run? Like you had said, Donna, that other promo lasted about a month. You want to draft the messages so you guys have a clear and consistent message. What do you want the message to say about both of you? What do you want the audiences to hear? And decide on a call to action. What should people do next? Is it you're working together for this giveaway? You're working together to buy a bundle? You're working together that they would RSVP to an event? Think about what that promo really looks like between the two of you with very clear expectations. So you both walk away, nobody's burned a bridge, no hard feelings, and you both feel like it was a successful promotion.
Yeah. And with Canva today, you guys can make graphics that have both of your logos on them. And it can be, completely combined promotion, which does both of you just so much more good. Okay. The next step is to promote and launch. So you're going to schedule your content ahead of time, plan your email, stories, reels, posts, all the things. You're going to coordinate timing. You guys both have to promote and launch. So you're going to tag. I laugh because I am the worst at tagging. Okay, when we promote this podcast, Tiffany's like, "Is there a reason you didn't tag me?" No,
Well,
no
honestly,
reason.
I really do ask out of sincere curiosity. Like maybe you know something about social media I don't, or like maybe it's a platform where you're not wanting to pull another name into. So then I'm like, okay, well, just can you post on another one and tag me? Like I never know the motive, and I also don't want to assume. Like we're such good friends,
Yeah.
and I would obviously never assume the worst out of you anyway. But it is a promotion, and maybe we need to have more clear communication about it. But yes, I just genuinely wonder, like, is there a method to your madness?
No, there's no method to my madness. It's called just trying to do what I can do. No, it was so funny. I laugh about that because, I'm the worst at that. I do really well at tagging on Instagram. I do not do as well on Facebook.
I will tell everybody now on Instagram, I love their collaborator feature. So when you get ready to tag someone, it says invite them as a collaborator. And then whatever that post is, it actually shows up on their wall on Instagram. That is what happens when we tag on Facebook. It shows up on their wall, but that's not what happens when you tag someone on Instagram. So if you invite them to be a collaborator, it will show up on their wall as well.
I was wondering what that was and what the difference was. I just learned something today. This is what the benefits of networking. Look, I just learned something that's just going to be like change my world. And I learned it through my networking partner. Okay. So yes. So we're going to tag, we're going to uplift, we're going to mention each other consistently. So both audiences can connect the dots. Again, that joint promotion with both your logos on the same thing. Valuable. Okay. So engage during the promotion, respond to comments. We've talked about this on a previous episode. Respond to comments, reshare, interact with each other's audience. That's huge. So when you see somebody comment on a post and it is not your follower, it's not your audience, engage in a conversation with them. Open that line of communication to grow that relationship.
Yep. And then the last thing we want to do is debrief and keep the relationship warm. So it's great to afterwards do a recap. I was just learning that after every concert, Kid Rock makes his band stick around and they review the concert and they go over. And how many times have we heard of a football team doing this or a basketball team? They watch their reels and they see how they performed. And it's the same thing. This was a great collaboration. We worked together. How could it have been better? What would we like to change about it next time? Genuinely thank each other. Like, hey, thanks for all the effort and the work that went into that. It was such a fun promotion. Or maybe it didn't meet our expectations, but I'd like to try something again. What have we learned from it? I think just a quick voice note, an email, or even a small gift goes a really long way. And then maybe if it was beneficial or if you see there was room for improvement, say, hey, you want to try it again? When do you want to do this again?
So everything we just went over is going to be in that amazing worksheet that can be found in our show notes and can also be found on our website. So if you have ever thought, I don't have a big enough audience to collaborate, this is your reminder. Okay, you do not need thousands of followers. You need the right connections. Just like Tiffany said earlier, engaged is better than quantity.
Yep. You just got to start with one person, one idea, one conversation. Collaboration isn't just a strategy, it's a mindset. So you grow faster when you grow together.
All right, it's time to flip the switch for networking mode on. This week, download our collaboration checklist. It's waiting for you in the show notes or on the website. It'll help you brainstorm the right kind of partners, pick the perfect format for your next collaboration, and take the guesswork out of where to begin. Use it to spark real conversations that lead to shared visibility and stronger connections. Networking mode on.
If this episode made you think of someone you'd love to collaborate with, share this episode with them. It might be the conversation starter that opens up something big.
You've been hanging out in the Link Up Lounge, your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Now it's your turn. Go make a powerful link today.
Networking mode on.